Howdy y'all, JT Johnson here with another Roll to Wound Tournament Battle Report. In this episode, I'll be taking my Sons of Behemat to Goldmine Games in Richmond, Texas. It'll be a 3-round, 1-day tournament, so let's get ready to roll. Alright, so headed out to the Goldmine tournament probably a week after we had Slambo. It was that next weekend, and so you're seeing this about a week after that tournament had went down, because I went on a little vacation pretty much immediately after the tournament. And I was really undecided if I was going to this. Usually coming back from a GT, especially when you traveled and you kind of wore out, but later in the week, my schedule really freed up, and I was sort of like, you know what, I think I'm gonna go to this tournament. And I was really undecided what to bring. I've had a Soul Blight list sitting on the table for a while. I'd gotten some games with OBR I really liked, but I had built a couple of I built some Gargants, and I was like, you know what, I've never ever played Sons. I played against them plenty of times if you've ever watched the channel, but I have never played them. And I said, you know what, I got some Sons here, but I just didn't want to run. I had 2 War Stompers, 2 Gatebreakers, and I went ahead and said, you know what, the Incarnate is the hotness right now, so let me get that. Before we see, and I don't have the nice picture of my army laid out and stuff. I honestly just forgot to do that, and it's nothing is painted, and then I have a purple sun on sticky tacked onto the correct size base for an Incarnate. So yeah, I'm slumming it, but I literally put this list together, at probably like 9 o'clock the night before the tournament. I am Brian and said, hey, can I still come? Is there still spots? Can I? He was like, sure. And asked if I could proxy the model, and it was more for me just to go out and have fun. I didn't really care if I was winning, losing. This was, obviously you want to try to do good, but it was more of a test run to see how I liked that army and the play style. I will say I had a lot of fun doing it. I mean, if you've ever played with Gargants, they do what they do. But there were some interesting things that happened during these 3 games and stuff that you should see, especially with the Krondspike included in this list. So let's go over the list real quick. Sons of Behemat, we took Stomper Tribe. I know there's a lot of arguments. You're sort of hampering yourself taking Stomper, especially when you don't bring any Man Crushers, the Little Giants. However, I really, really like Ironwood Cestus. That's like so nice on the War Stomper, who's your general. You're going to re-roll all your armor saves, and then you'll reflect back on that re-roll if it's a 6. So it's pretty nice. It's just like survivability. So if you're playing somebody that's just like low rend and just volume, he's gonna tank it. Eager for a fight, to give him that 3d6 charge, and also you have that sort of with the Krondspike, so I can re-roll that. It gives me a first turn charge potential with him, and a pretty really nice threat range. I took 2 Gatebreakers with him, mainly because of the points, and I don't have any Little Giants. I've rebuilt this list using 1 Gatebreaker, a Mega, and some Little Giants. It works out better, but if I was taking an extra War Stomper, I just couldn't. I was like down 100 and something points. I was like, I just can't do that. I'm going to take another 2 Gatebreakers and call it a day. On that second Gatebreaker, I went ahead and put the Arcane Tome, basically because that would be the one that is bonded to Krondspike, so I get that plus to cast, and Flaming Weapon, but mainly it's there to put out Mystic Shield. Then we had the Krondspike and Boss of the Stomp. I put I put the Gatebreakers in there to give me that extra artifact, and 1920 with 105 wounds, 4 drops. So guys, like, this was just really the night before. I'm just throwing stuff together with things I had just to try it out. And like I said, there's no beautiful, hey, look at the army and all my painting, because none of this is painted. This is all just going out and having some fun last minute. So let's get into game number 1.
First Blood, and guess who we're playing? Always on the channel, Trevor, and Trevor's got Nighthaunt. Playing, this is the first time I've got to play the new book, so I'm excited. He's went over all the rules, and I'm telling you what, there's a ton. I'm playing the Gargants over here, and excuse the proxies and the non-painted, I just want to bring something fun. I outdrop, so I will take the first turn, and we're going to get into it.
Over here. Got some more.
Alright, finished up my turn. I took Monstrous Takeover over here because I was hoping to get some long charges. I thought about aggressive expansion and run. Probably might have should have run. That would have probably been the better one, but I'm still figuring this army out. I made a good long charge here with a 3d6 charge with a reroll. Got in, killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Grimghast Reapers. He did 4 wounds back. Failed to charge with the other 2, and that's pretty much it going into Nighthaunt turn 1. Alright, so Trevor's turn, pretty solid. He wave a terror to everybody. I'm going to let you talk to. Give me the big overview. What happened to this?
I pretty much just charged most of my army into this unit.
And I finest soured him.
How many wounds? I don't even know how many wounds he got.
He's got 19 wounds on him, and then we've got 13 wounds on this Gatebreaker.
And he swung back. This guy didn't do much combat. He did all right over here.
Dude, I only hit with I hit and wounded with 1 flail or something, no, or 2 because you saved 1. So we only killed a few.
And I can't compete on this objective right now since he's got 2 megas and a monster in there.
Yeah, it's he scored. He only scored 1 for the hold 1. He did do his Nighthaunt battle tactic, which is have more than 2 enemy units next to my Gatebreaker. And yeah, I didn't really kill that much. It's very hard because I want to target the heroes, but most of his heroes have shrugs to the ghosts, so it's making it, the decision making is very hard for me. Plus he was -3 to hit and -1 to save. All right, so we're going to a roll off for turn 2. So I need Trevor to roll a 1. And he rolled a 2.
We'll take it.
There's my 5, son of a bitch. All right, I needed that. I'm gonna have 2 dead megas this turn.
How many?
All right, so we finished up his turn. He got the double. I rolled a 1. He rolled a 2. It was pretty bloody. In fact, I did most of my damage with the fall from my general. What else happened to note on this turn?
You killed both of my blade guys with Krondspike there. We actually have to test him.
Yes, he only took 2 wounds this turn. So
no, never mind, 2. Sorry.
Yeah, so he can't fail to roll. And really, he scored 5 points. 3 of the points came from dropping, he scored extra points from dropping my general. We're going into my turn, and we'll see what we can do.
All right, and into the combat phase, he's going to bring back.
Yeah, I was going to say with our retreat and charge another one. Is that your plan?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys, so finish up my turn. Didn't do a lot. He just whiffed on the Grimghast, but I did take aggressive expansion, got the points. He redeployed the Banshees back there, so I didn't have a long charge. But I still got my battle tactic. I still hold 2. I did kill the boatman. I killed 1 other little guy. Really, man, it's just like Nighthunter just really working me. So we're going. Yeah, he's bringing his models back now, and I got 1 wound left on my big guy right here. We're going into a roll off to see who gets the turn 3. Again, 2 to 1, he's taking it, so we'll figure it out. All right, we're running short on time. I know I'm playing Gargants now, I'm still short on time. Mostly because we were just being casual with the rules.
23.
They're out.
Oh, on the point. Okay.
Yeah.
So 18, 20.
20. All right, so Trevor took, basically bring it down, brought it down, and took the center point. So we're going to do some math and see if I can even take it.
Yeah. I got 8 points there.
Yeah. All right, we basically figured up points and lost by 2. The max I could get is 6. I needed 8 to tie him. So we just basically talked out my turn. Double turn really hurt, and just the debuffs. Obviously, Gargants, they have to do their damage.
I mean, it's still, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, the damage output is really hampered when they have all the debuffs on them. And then when you're rolling 4 ups for a -3 wound, it's like it really hampers me. So that's a fun game, good game. Trevor got it by 2, so we're gonna put it in.
Okay, that was my first game. game one against the Nighthaunt, first game of their new book. Got to play Trevor, and if you've watched the channel, you know that we played Trevor several times, and um, he got the best of me today, which is I'm happy for him because usually it's on the other end, and I'm playing a shooting army, and he's playing a non-shooting army, and it always works out in my favor. But today he definitely got me. Um, as far as what I saw from the Nighthaunt play, Suns just weren't a great matchup for it. Now, maybe if I'd have got a different mission, or maybe if I'd have got, I don't think that Nighthaunt are unbeatable. If you're playing Suns, don't get me wrong, because I felt that the game was still actually somewhat close. I whiffed a bunch of rolls, and the priority's priority. That's not a big deal. But if I would have got the priority, it would have changed a lot of the things that happened sort of in that turn too. Plus, we didn't get to go for more turns, which might have helped because we were like there were just so many rules, there were so many rolls, and we were just sort of being casual with it too. Um, ran out a little time at the end, and more than likely he would have won anyway. He had too many units left. But the Wave of Terror against the Giants does hurt because you can make them minus to hit, which is okay. I mean, it's not the worst thing they can have in a giant, but they definitely don't like it. However, it's the minus to saves. Basically, I was on like a at least a like best a 5-up, and there was even times with my warlord where I had him finest houred and all out defensed, and I was still on a 5-up, just because when he hit me with multiple units, he was either rolling natural to -1 to save, or he was picking that -1 to save, and it allowed a lot of that damage through. Kind of makes up for the Nighthaunt's general lack of rend. I mean, I know they got a lot of rend 1 weapons, but there's not like heavy rend all over the place. So keep that in mind if you're playing against a Nighthaunt player, or you are a Nighthaunt player, that Wave of Terror, if you're going into something with a high save, that's how they're getting rid of it and getting around it. He also had his, I'm going to mispronounce the name, the Crucifixer, basically one of his heroes that made me -1 to wound and took away 1 point of the damage. And that was what really hurt the War Stomper. A lot of those is that even though I was eventually hitting and wounding, he's failing his 4-up unrendable save, and then turns around and turns all my damage into 1, and that's really what kept that War Stomper from doing really any damage. So that's just my assessment of the Nighthaunt. Trevor did really well at this tournament. And if you're playing against or with Nighthaunt, I just feel it's one of those armies. It's kind of like it used to be, where if you roll hot, that army is just hard to play against. And I think even more so now, that if you're playing Nighthaunt and you're able to roll 4s and 5s, no one's going to take you off the board. You're just going to sit there. Oh no, fun game. Like I said, I don't think that Nighthaunt are unbeatable with Suns. I just think that just the combination of stuff that happened. Yeah, you can definitely Nighthaunt can beat Giants. So there you go. They take away a lot of what the Giants do, which is high rend, high damage. So good game with Trevor. Glad he got a win. Like I said, it was a fun game. Nice to see those Nighthaunt. There was a couple of Nighthaunt at the tournament, and they did okay. So moving into game number 2 right now.
All right, so we're over here at Power Struggle. I'm playing Andrew again. So I think on the channel I'm 0 0-3 against you, at least. Yeah, you know what? I think there was a Stormcast game in there. Maybe I pulled off luckily somehow.
Oh
but
yeah, when I was playing Ringer or something. Probably.
yeah. Notice he's made that emphasis when I was the ringer. But I gave him first turn because basically I just don't think I can get over there and do anything, and I'll just be in position for him to double turn me and really take me off. So letting him go. Hey, well, guys, we got going and fast, and we totally skipped Seraphon turn one. So he. What'd you do on that turn?
I did 11 wounds to that. Woo!
Yeah.
I did a little scratch damage with the Realm Shaper. Miscast with Croak, only did 1 mortal wound. Went to the guard, healed it. Nothing happened. But besides that, we're playing back, and hopefully don't get double turned.
Yeah.
He's in the middle of the board now.
Yeah, and I started my turn already, and I'll talk about it in a bit. But basically, I'm moving up and it's in the charge.
So for victory points, you get the monster takeover for 2.
Yep. And I hold 1.
You hold 2 right now.
Yes. And you hold 2, so I don't hold more.
Right.
All right, so that was my turn, and not bad, not super good. Only got 2 wounds on the Bastiladon. Just he armor save, tank. Didn't finish those guys. Killed the skink. Took the monster's takeover. Filled a 12-inch charge with the Krondspine's actually up there, and he did a reroll. Still didn't matter, and down 3-2. And I was moving in for the double turn, and I'm fixing to get it right here.
You get it right here
for a 5.
You need a 5 up. That's not 5.
All right, I'm gonna take it. All right, so I took the double turn and mostly worked out during the charge. So in shooting, first off, I didn't get Mystic Shield off. I finest houred Big Boy. Then I got the charge with the Krondspike, got the charge with my general, failed the 7, probably needed 8 with him, failed him into Croak. After that, I probably did 7 wounds across the board, maybe.
You did 3 to him. They did. Most of them died from the charge. And
yep.
Stuff.
And
yeah, melee didn't do anything.
Because I put 2 of my Krondspike and the Gatebreaker once again went fully into the Bastiladon. Did 0 wounds. He's sitting on 2 wounds right now, so not great. And I did a couple to his general, but yeah.
I mean, the good news for you is I own no objectives. That's pretty big, and it's still going to be a tough thing to kill this stuff. Yeah. I can't kill him this turn.
All right, so here we go. All right, so your turn.
My turn.
What ended up happening?
Man, we tried. We went for broken ranks on the guy here. Ended up getting it by one damage with the Bastiladon charge melee attack.
Yep.
So
super close.
It took both of them to attack to do it. Did a lot of damage to the boy here. He's at 29, I think. So we're close on here. Got curse off and did a bunch of poke stuff there. Still, I got the objective on that far side with the knights running over there, but don't control it yet because it's power struggle. I do get this one back for now, which is cool. That thing's wild. I score a few more points, so we're really turn 3.
4. What you got?
I roll 1.
All right. Sure. All right, so my turn. Charged in over here. I put out all the attacks I could into the general, except for I took kill a battle line. You had one.
You stomped him. You stomped the battle line.
Yeah, I stomped the battle line, and then so he died. Got that point. Krondspike got the purple-blue Bastiladon down to 1 wound left. Goodness gracious! And I ended up collecting 6 points for the turn from holding 2 points, killing one of his monsters, and killing his battle line with one of my monsters. Going into his turn right now.
All right, so first off, I want to say good game to Andrew. That is the first time that I've ever beat his Seraphon in person. I think I beat him once or twice on Tabletop Sim with some ridiculous, when OBR was like in the heyday, and he had never played them and didn't realize what they were doing. So I don't take any credit for those wins. This one, double turn, we talked about it after the fact. I got the going into 2 double turn, but we said it on there. I did like 5 to 7 wounds across the board. I couldn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Now, like, of course, this is an objective-based game. You got to lock things down, but you also do have to, take things off the board because you don't want the return fire is really what it is. You don't want to lose your stuff. So, the blue Bastillodon, I just couldn't do any. And I I got a little frustrated because it was insane the amount of rolls and things that were putting into it. And just between me flubbing rolls, him making all his saves, making wards, it was crazy. I was like, dude, I can't do anything to this. So it was sort of a, even though I got the double going into 2, which is exactly what I wanted, other than just locking him into deployment, I did no damage. Goes back to his turn. He was able to take a giant off. Then I won the priority. And so we didn't record Andrew's turn. On his turn, he had a little bit of a long bomb chance to do something to tie the game up or bring it a little bit closer. And it all really came around for Croak being able to do some things. The first thing he threw out, Croak miscast, and then I think he did 3 wounds to himself. Then it was another thing, and I can't even remember. He had like 3 other little things that he was trying to do, and he rolled like 5 or 6 ones in a row. Just boom, 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 boom. Got nothing off, did nothing. And he pretty much called it right there. And at that point, he was super frustrated. I felt bad for him because I was like, dude, now you know how I felt in turn 2 when I couldn't do anything. But it was like, okay, that's it. And so I'm happy I got a win with these guys. But then again, it's kind of crappy because, Andrew had such a bad end to his game, being just locked into his zone. And our rolls both went so hot and cold during this game that it was frustrating for both of us, I think. But I did get a win. So I'm moving on to game 3 and seeing if I can string another one together.
All right, we're here with Devin, and we're playing Feral Foray. He's got Sylvaneth, nicely, looking good, nicely painted army. I'm still here with the Beat Boys over here. I outdropped. I think I'm just going to let you go first. So, okay. There you go. All right, so for my turn, I took Ferocious Advance over here. Still keeping my body on, points on the point. He has tree revs. They could tell he's got 1 unit of tree revs, and plus he's got trees that he can teleport around to. So I'm just trying to keep it there. Managed a good long charge here. Took out 5 Sprite Revenants, and there's 1 tree rev or Dryad that's still alive. But I did take the point. I ended up making a total of 6 points this turn. So now we're going to roll off to turn 2. Yep. Got 2. Got 2. You went first. You pick.
I will go.
All right. Devin finished up his turn, and what all went on this?
So basically, kind of rotated my line over here. Shifted screens to deal with the giants that are coming in. Wario moved in. Tree Revenants teleported from this corner over here to take his objective over here.
And that was
my battle tactic.
Yeah.
And then I had some Kronos charge in to kind of try and hold him here, get a few more wounds on him, just slowly chipping away at him.
Yep. And yeah, you got your portal spell off,
Yeah,
and you did the mortar wound bowl.
Yeah,
you ended up doing 9 to him. No, 6 to the general, 4 to the gatebreaker here.
Yeah.
And I actually have to roll for Krondspike. You did get 5.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
So he's good. I rolled plenty, but yeah. And yeah, you took the point, and you did not burn it, because you could have burnt that point, and we're going into my turn 2. All right, I took Monsters Takeover with this guy, and I just moved him here. I came with this Gatebreaker, basically took out the tree revs that were standing over here because I just wanted to get my point back. War Stomper was able to finish off the Kurnoff Hunters. I moved up the Krondspike, but and between this turn and last, I've smashed both of these trees to rubble. So they're just there, but they're not active. Krondspike had rolled a 4. I was trying to get him in this area to try to lock up a Larial. Rolled a 4, re-rolled it back into a 4, so he didn't go over there. We are going into a turn 4, and I burnt that point under him for an extra point. Going into a turn 4 roll-off. Turn 3.
Let's go talk. I need to take a paint anyway, and I don't think I'll win.
6-1. All right. All right. Winning that double turn was really good. I took Savage Spearhead and got 2 monsters in his territory, so I got an extra point for that because territory's half the board on this one. I got a nice move and charge with Krondspike and Gatebreaker to kill a Larial. But really, I did 8 damage to her
from shooting.
From rocks, yeah. So
just from the double turn of shooting.
Yep. War Song Revenant got killed by the general over here. I killed a unit of Dryads, ran this giant to take that point just to have it, and smash trees. I didn't smash those. They're not. Those trees are still good. It's a really rough turn, Devin. I think the total is like 8 to 18 right now. So going into your turn 2. All right, Devin. Not the best turn for you. You only had 3 units left. You went for, we sort of talked about battle tactics, and we decided that you were doing.
We're gonna go. I was gonna try and do a monstrous takeover. I really didn't. I had 2 options: monstrous takeover, but it required me to summon a tree over here so that I could then teleport back over here to take this point. Unfortunately, I rolled a 4.
Yeah, and there was no dispel range either, so if it would have went off, he would have pretty much got that. But he did put a few extra wounds where I got 26 wounds on my general there. So the hope is that he gets the double turn and he can bring it down, maybe bring it down. Krondspike came over here and
just wipe some spite remnants.
So he's down to 2 units on the board.
Yeah.
And we're going to a priority roll-off going into 4. 4 to 4, I got it. All right, guys. So we wrapped up here and we just pretty much pulled the board. We sort of turn 4 and 5. After our 1 priority, I took bring it down on Drycha. I would have had the Krondspike and the Gatebreaker there, and then we just sort of talked out turn 5, 4 and 5, and figured out what would happen. We wrapped up points 12 to 33. So really good game. Appreciate you playing. And he wins the painting competition and the non-proxy competition. So at least we got that. And I think he's got a good go for maybe best painted. So we'll see.
All right, so that was my first time ever to actually play Devin, and I think I've known him for like years and years, and we've just never actually been playing the same game system at the same time. I believe maybe Devin, tell me if I'm wrong, we have played in the past at some point. But I would like to also give a shout out to him. He is the newest official member of the Roll to Wound team. So it was really cool having him out at the tournament. Good painter, fun guy to play against, like just an all around great dude. And that's like, a good deal because we're sort of growing the team this season. That's what our focus is for the sort of the next 12 months or so, is sort of grow the Roll to Wound team. And that's what we're doing here locally. And if any of y'all out around the state of Texas or city of Houston wants to be on the Roll to Wound team, just, give me a shout out, give me a message, and you don't really got to do nothing. There's not a real, there's not a, an application you've got to fill out. It's just say, I want to be on Roll to Wound team. Cool. Come on. It was a rough game for Devin. Not only is Sylvaneth a little bit underpowered at this point because the new book isn't out yet. Against Giants is a hard matchup for them. I mean, they have the maneuverability to jump around, and Giants can't be all places at once. There's usually only 4 units, right? But just getting the double turn, he went first and really didn't do that much. I was hoping that he would move up a little bit. He did just slightly. I was able to get a nice good charge in there and take at center point, and that was sort of my strategy: is just isolate units at a time and start taking them down. The board was super terrain heavy, and it sort of did hamper a lot of what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to play overly aggressive because I know that he has all the abilities to teleport, so I wasn't trying to get out into a no man's land where I ended up getting no points because I'm just sort of, nowhere to be found and not next to any of my points. um, yeah, the rock throws in this game were a little bit insane in my favor. It just seems like every time I threw a rock, I was like taking off 4 wounds of 4 wounds to Alariel every time. And when she got brought down, it was really a really hard hole to get out of it for him because she is such a point sink and just not being able to heal a lot. So I think she's going to get fixed in the new book. I think there's going to be a lot of play with the new Sylvaneth book, and we've got actually two guys on the Road Wound team, Devin and Parker, that play them, and I'm hoping that they actually turn out to be pretty solid because those guys plan on going to some tournaments this year. So what did I think about this list in general, just with Sons? Well, originally I had thought about taking them to Slambo, but once the hunt and all that stuff come out, I sort of changed to ogres. And if you follow the channel, you knew my thought process on that. I like it. It was fun. It was like I said, Friday night. I've never played Sons before, but I've played them enough to pretty much know what they do. And the night before the tournament, I said, "Hey, sure, I'll just take these guys." It wasn't a lot of thinking overload. What is a lot of the guys say? Gavin says, smooth brained to play this army. It really isn't. It sort of does what it does. It goes forward and smash, or it sits on points and makes you come to them and take out their 35 wounds. And adding the Krondspike in there, I wanted to play with that mechanic to see if it was worth it, to see if it was fun. And I'll say with the Krondspike built into this, that the reroll charge bubble was nice. Some of the things it did was nice, but as far as its damage output, there was probably one combat phase per game, like in each of my games, that it actually did what you would think it would do. And the rest of the time, it was either out of combat, it was chasing somebody around because it already killed something, or it's just whiffing and not doing anything. So as far as the damage output, in my games, it really didn't do all that much. However, on the flip side of that, it only leveled down one time in all of my games, and I think that's probably just showing you maybe my application of it and how it was used. I think the Krondspike is a really interesting thing, something that you do, especially against a melee army. You sort of just put it mid-board and dare somebody to get next to it, and it'll lock people down. I think that if you're running it, I have an ogres list within there that if you're playing underguts, you throw a Krondspike in, it's like, it's so annoying because now you can't even get to my castle. You have to go through the Krondspike for a turn or two at least, and that gives me some more time to shoot you. I think that a Krondspike could be added in. I've played with it in Soul Blight, even Idoneth, which I don't think need it that much, but it is interesting if you're running a shooting heavy Idoneth list to lock people down with that. I've played with a lot of lists with it to see what I like, see the validity of it, and I think it has a lot of play out there, and you're going to see it at tournaments until an FAQ is released or until they nerf it or whatever they're going to do with it. So just make sure that if you're a tournament player, you know what Krondspike does and how to work around it. And the big thing is you just got to you can just be away from it, or you can feed it feed it your screens if you need to. Let it go kill a screen and then sit over there for a turn or two. Like I said, I will take it again. I think that it has play. I'm not against taking it at all, and I like the mechanics. And I think that if you build into it locking down, or if your army is suited to have that one unit, like a Marathi almost, that can lock something down for 2 turns, and you benefit from it, that it'll be really good for you. I don't know. The big question is, will I be playing Sons again? I might play him for a fun battle report or something, or take him to a local tournament. I would love to paint him because I'm doing fire giants with him, and I have a whole good theme. That might happen later next year or something. It just depends on how things go. But I'm not going to be taking him in a competitive sense, so don't worry, guys. I didn't switch to Sons, and I'm not going to be playing him on the channel. However, that being said, Texas Masters is coming up. I did make it to the Masters, so I will be going to that and representing, be one of the Houston representatives for that. And I have a pretty good idea what I'm going to take. I'm not going to say anything yet. We'll wait till I sort of get that army where I want it and get it together and do some practice games and really figure out if that's what I'm wanting to take. And then once I'm sort of feel good about it, we'll have hopefully a battle report or a tournament battle report prior to the Masters, one or two of those with that army. All right, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and y'all be good.